So Rings is the third film in the Ring trilogy, essentially, but it's called Rings. It's not called Ring 3, it's called Rings. Just Rings. Just Rings. Anyway, so we follow Julia and Holt as they go on a mission to find the truth behind the video that they've just watched, and they've got 7 days to do it, which is exactly the same as obviously the first and second film, that you watch a film that comes on the screen, it's a bit mental, there's some weird stuff going on, then you get a call straight after from like this young girl saying 7 days, and then 7 days later she crawls out the TV screen and just obliterates you basically. So what Julia and Holt have got to do is they've got to find what this video is about and kind of track down the truth behind it and stop it before it kills them and anyone else. The director is Javier Gutierrez. He's not really done anything of note so far, but the scriptwriter for this was a guy called David Luca, whose previous films included The House at the End of the Street and The Dream House. The cast itself is pretty much unknown apart from one exception, and that is Leonard from The Big Bang Theory. Yep, that's right, Johnny Galecki has definitely traded in his quick paycheck card for this one. Let's talk about some of the good points of the film. The story itself is pretty decent. What it does well is it kind of keeps true to the first two films and keeps the kind of same story, but then takes it on a little bit of a different direction, which keeps like the intrigue going and kept me interested until the end of the film. So that's definitely a good point. Another good point is the nostalgia factor of this film. It works really well, and kind of when you see Samara come out of the screen for the first time in this film, you get that kind of nostalgic feel about when you saw it back in, well, I saw it back in 2002, and kind of it brought back up those kind of like scared feelings inside, and it worked really well, and I kind of liked that part of it. So that's another good point. So another good point in the film, this is a minor little one, is there's a scene about 2/3 of the way through in which Julia has to climb into a tomb to discover something, and the scene unfolds pretty quickly and it's really suspenseful, and it's kind of like a quick hit to you, and it just works really well, and I thought it was really well done, and it was kind of a really good little horror scene contained in the whole film. So I'm definitely going to give that a good. However, that's probably where the good points end, and I'm going to have to talk about the bad points. So the first bad point, and this is a major bad point, is the film is just boring. It is literally, I had my notepad there and I started doodling on it because I was getting a bit bored and kind of looking around and seeing what everyone else was up to in the cinema. It just doesn't progress at a very fast rate. The film's 1 hour 42 minutes, but it could have easily been cut down to literally like 1 hour 20. There's just a lot of dead moments in it where nothing's happening, there's no character development, there's no suspense, which is integral in a horror film. And it just felt really slow at some points, and I was just waiting for it to kind of pick up towards the end. So that's a definite bad point. Another bad point is just the cheap scares in this film. The type of scares in this film have been done to death, excuse the pun, but it just doesn't add anything to the film, and they telegraph it. They pretty much tell you, right, this is going to happen in a minute. And having seen so many horror films, I'm so used to it now that it just doesn't knock me off guard or anything. You know, you got the classic ones of like stuff falling off a table or someone behind the door when they open it and things like that. It's cheap filmmaking and it's cheap scares, and I just don't like it. And the epitome of that is a dream sequence. Oh my God, we had this in about the first 20 minutes of the film. The dream sequence where it seems all real and then you have the scare and then they wake up. And it's just another cheap plot point that has been used in so many horror films that you would think by now they'd kind of steer clear of it, but it seems to be fully ingrained in some crappy horror films. So they're definite bad points to this film. There's no standout performances in this film. I didn't expect any, to be honest. Had little expectation going into this film, and no one kind of made themselves a star within this film. It was just kind of average, middle of the road, plod along. So no one kind of captured my attention, and I didn't really care about the characters. I was just, you know, it's one of those films you just watch and you've just got no emotion coming out of it. But then again, is that what's needed in this film? I don't know, but for me that was definite bad point as well. And the final bad point is it's just all been done before, really. Yeah, it's just been done before. You know, We had the first Ring film. That was a brilliant film for its time. You know, it worked really well. It probably made masses of money. It did make masses of money. And then we had the second film, which was just utter crap. And now they've kind of revitalised it all this time later, and it just doesn't need to be done. It's a quick kind of paycheck, and for the actors involved, and probably a quick buck for the producers. It'll probably make back its budget, but you know, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change the horror genre. It's not going to kind of elevate the Rings saga or the Ring saga to a new level. It's just another throwaway film that people probably won't watch again. So that's definite bad point, that, you know, the things within the film and the kind of story, it's been done before. It doesn't need to be revisited. Leave the first one alone. Let people enjoy it for what it is, and just stop tarnishing it with these extra films that are not needed. So that's a bad point as well. Overall though, this film, it was okay. Like, I went into it with no kind of anticipation of what it would be like at all. I was expecting it to be shit, basically. And it did elevate itself a level above shit, but not too much. It done what it needed to get through to the film. I didn't come out of it thinking, wow, that was amazing. That was, you know, I need to see it again. I'll probably never watch it again. And as I say, it's all been done before. And it just didn't work as like this really good horror film. So ultimately, although I had low expectations and it beat that expectations marginally, it was still a massive letdown. So I'm going to have to give it 5 out of 10. So as always, if you stuck around this far, I thank you, I applaud you. I know it's hard. If you've seen the film, let us know what you think in the comments below, or tell us about your favourite parts of the previous films. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up. That means a lot to me. I'll sleep better tonight if there's a thumbs up on my video. And lastly, if you've not subscribed yet and you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, what reviews I'm bringing out, then please click the subscribe button down below. It means a lot, and it probably means that I won't have some woman crawling out of my TV tonight if you subscribe. So think of me when you do that. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.